It's not too late to buy Bitcoin. Everyone needs to stop saying that it's too late to jump in. It's not too late. That's like a victim mentality. It's like, oh, I've missed the boat. The ship has sailed. Well, it hasn't. Stop comparing to your friends that got in earlier than you, than the co-workers at work that are like, it's too late. It's at all-time high. Just forget those people. We've got people like Michael Saylor that have bought $2 billion in the last 10 days. What about BlackRock? They've bought nearly 500,000 Bitcoin. They own more than 2% of the supply. That's worth more than $40 billion. Do you think they're going to randomly just stop because some random guy's like, it's too late, I've called the top? No, these guys are buying regardless. It's not just a retail environment anymore. We got the big players. We got Wall Street rocking up. We got ETFs going buck wild. Every morning that you guys get up and you guys go to work, you are contributing to this world. You're contributing through your labor, your time, your energy. You receive money for that. Now, you need somewhere to store that time and energy. Well, guess what? Bitcoin is a fixed supply. It is a fixed digital property. It is an asset with a fixed supply. No one can print more Bitcoins, man. So if your money is time and energy in extracted form, do you want to hold that in something that can be magically printed, something that will go down over time, like your local currency? Or do you want something that has a supply cap that's fairly distributed, available to anyone, and outperforming everything? We're only just starting to crack $90,000 USD this week, and we are heading into a 4-year time under Trump, who is a pro-crypto president. That is the first in history. He is proposing a Bitcoin strategic reserve, promising not to sell their $200,000 that they've got under the government, and potentially adding to that stockpile. More recently, Trump has said on a Fox Business interview, if we don't embrace it, it will be embraced by someone else. Then stating that US should be the leader in Bitcoin and it could help pay off the $35 trillion in debt. The strategic reserve, I feel like, is the biggest economic announcement since 1971. And 1971 was when they just said, we're ditching the gold standard, and that is giving us the license to print as much money as we want. This is the next biggest announcement, but it's a positive one. The first time that there's been a positive economic announcement. When was the last time you heard something positive about the economy? Well, for me, it's now coming up into 4 years under Donald Trump. Even 2008, we look back when they printed so much money just to bail out those banks. See, these announcements are negative. Now we're looking at a positive announcement. Trump promises to use his excess reserves from the federal banks to build on a BTC stockpile, leading from the front. This is just a rumor, but if this comes true, far out. Trump proposes a 0% capital gain tax on cryptocurrencies issued by US companies. If this news is true, this could potentially lead to a 0% tax on Bitcoin capital gains in the future. Think about Bitcoin mining in the US. Think about Bitcoin trading in the US. Imagine just dropping that 37% tax on crypto gains. I feel like that's got to boost adoption. I feel like it's intimidating when something has capital gain tax on it. Imagine when you're buying something that is tax free. More recently, Bitcoin has just passed silver in asset market cap, closing in on Saudi Aramco, which is the world's largest oil producer. Once Bitcoin reaches the 7th spot, it will only have 5 companies in the world larger in market cap, leaving gold at 17 trillion for the final boss. I feel like the fact that Bitcoin still has companies larger than it just proves how much room it has to grow. How are there still companies bigger than this thing? That means we can eat up some of their market cap and stop climbing the ranks. Recently, Microsoft, which has a larger market cap than Bitcoin, is hosting a shareholder vote on December the 10th for whether to hold Bitcoin on balance sheet or continue to hold their cash reserves of $120 billion. The top 6 technology companies hold a total of $500 billion in cash reserves. Imagine when they decide to jump on the Bitcoin treasury strategy and even 10% of their cash reserves is $50 billion into Bitcoin, which would be about 550,000 Bitcoin. Assuming the price wasn't impacted by that demand, that would equal 2.62% of the total Bitcoin supply, and this is just the top 6 technology companies jumping in. Now imagine a world where the S&P 500 has every company wanting at least 1% of their company in Bitcoin, or nations like the US and China backing their currencies on a Bitcoin strategic reserve, or even one day a Bitcoin standard. So much has happened in the last 12 months. We've had the ETF launch, we've got MicroStrategy going buck wild. Now we've got Trump winning the election to become the first pro-crypto president. But there is still so much room to grow as an asset. There is more than $500 trillion in value scattered across the world in assets like real estate, gold, companies, cash, and cash equivalents. So Bitcoin's only $1.7 trillion in market cap. That's not even 0.4% of the wealth in the world which has entered Bitcoin. So guys, it's not too late. Continue to stack sats. Buy at least $100 of Bitcoin if you've never bought Bitcoin before. Buy it first rather than later. So buy it first, then study, and then I think you'll be convicted to buy more and look at it as a long-term strategy. Maybe that's when you can start to DCA. Thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed.